Before I even speak, this is fantastic. Hi everyone, my name is Peter Tatara and I'm the Director of Film here at Japan Society. Thank you all very, very, very much for coming out to tonight's special 55th anniversary screening of Destroy... 55th anniversary screening of Destroy All Monsters, presented together with our friends at ESCAPE from Tribeca. I'd love to start by asking you, if you've been to Japan Society before, raise your hand. Now, if this is your first time to Japan Society, raise your hand.
Wow.
For everyone who's been here before, welcome back and welcome home. For everyone where this is your first visit, we hope you come back, and we hope this becomes your home. Before we begin, I've just got a few bits and pieces to share, and then I'll introduce some amazing people. First, please stay after the screening, as we have a post-event reception up in the lobby that will feature beverages generously donated by Brooklyn Kura and Moshi. Also in the lobby, we have an amazing kaiju toy and art print display from Seismic Toys and Robo 7, and a King of Kaiju contest for you to enter. The right answer is King Ghidorah. Yeah, I got some gasps. If you enjoyed tonight, please come back next week. Next week we have our annual sake tasting and lecture. Yes, with over 30 different sake from across Japan. And then next month, starting July 26th, we have the return of Japan Cuts. Our annual contemporary Japanese film festival. It is the largest Japanese film festival in North America, and our first time fully back in this theater since 2019. Tickets for Japan Cuts go on sale to the general public on June 27th, but for members, they launch next week. Members also get access to an exclusive members-only all-access pass. So I would encourage you, become a member. In addition to all the above, members get 20% off everything we do here, 20% off every film, as well as 20% off that sake tasting. So, with all that said, I'm pleased to introduce some very awesome people. First, Mr. Kevin Derendorf. Kaiju for Hipsters, an amazing book about 101 lesser-known giant monster movies. Kevin will be signing his book after the screening, and you're going to give us some words of wisdom about what makes Destroy All Monsters so significant. Go ahead, Kevin.
Awesome. So, all right. So, as mentioned, I wrote a book about alternative giant monster movies, and Destroy All Monsters is not covered in this book. Because Destroy All Monsters is not an alternative giant monster movie. It is essential viewing. It is the ultimate giant monster movie. And I mean this literally because it was conceived of as a grand finale to the entire genre, kind of a capstone for the whole medium. And, you know, why would they do this? Well, in the 1960s, in 1962, King Kong vs. Godzilla came out, and it was a huge, huge hit. And the studio that made it, Toho, they said, all right, we're going all in. We're making multiple monster movies every year.
That's right.
And then all of their competitors, Shochiku, Toei, Nikatsu, Daiei, they all started doing the same thing. And then television comes along, and it starts doing the same thing. And has anyone in the past couple of years heard, there's too many superhero movies nowadays? The same thing happened. Basically, the audience started to get really diluted by just too much stuff, and it started to wane. The numbers went down, and so Toho said, all right, we're wrapping this up, but we're getting our A-team. We're getting the director of the original Godzilla, Ishiro Honda, the music composer, Akira Ifukube, the special effects director, Eiji Tsuburaya. He was back to supervise effects for this. It's really like the best of the best, the cream of the crop. To write this, though, they didn't go with their usual Godzilla writer, Shinichi Sekizawa. They went with Takeshi Kimura, who kind of writes like dark, somber stuff most of the time. And he had an idea. He said, okay, for this new movie, let's go nonfiction. This might seem a little bit puzzling, but hear me out. Surprise, everybody's about to get a history lesson. In the early 1700s, there was a noble lord who insulted the shogunate, and he was sentenced to have all of his land confiscated, and he was executed. This didn't sit well with the samurai that served this guy, so these 47 samurai that had served him, 47 Ronin, they go to the palace of the official that made the decision, Kira, and they basically torch the place to the ground. So the idea behind Destroy All Monsters is really the same. It just fudges the details a little bit. It's not set in 1703, it's a far, far future of 1999. And this official Kira is actually Kirak, these aliens from outer space. And the land that was confiscated is the entire planet Earth. And instead of 47 samurai as an army, you have an army of monsters. This was actually a very prudent move for Toho because they had all of these costumes lying around from their previous movies. They had previously done a crossover. They had Ghidra, the three-headed monster, where they brought back Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra all to team up against this monster Ghidra. And that was like the Avengers of the time. 4 monsters on screen. And Destroy All Monsters is like the Avengers Endgame because it has 11 monsters. So let's see if I can remember them all here. We've got Godzilla, Rodan, Mothra, Ghidra, Kumanga and Minilla from Son of Godzilla, Anguirus from Godzilla Rift Again, Manda from Otragon, Varant from Varant the Unbelievable, Gorosaurus from King Kong Escapes, Baragon from Frankenstein Conquers the World. Am I missing? I've lost track. But Evera was not in it. Evera was planned to be in it. There were actually 5 more monsters that they had plans for, including Magma from Gorath, which is crazy because the moon gets blown up in Gorath, and most of Destroy All Monsters takes place on the moon. So that would have been awkward. So in addition to this cast of monsters, we have a whole bunch of great human actors who are on screen. You have Akira Kubo, who is the star of Son of Godzilla, coming right back the next year. You have Yukiko Kobayashi, who's just been on Ultra 7 playing this robot, so she plays a very emotionless character who's mind controlled. That makes a lot of sense. And Yokio Tsutsuya, who always plays this creepy weirdo, plays a creepy weirdo, so it's perfect casting. And I know a lot of people say like, oh, who cares about the human characters in kaiju movies? And I'm like, that is glib, that is offensive, and well, for this movie it's kind of true. So this movie is really about an unending cavalcade of special effects and campy sci-fi nonsense, and it is awesome. So this is actually, the first Godzilla movie that was targeted exclusively at children, and you can tell this because before this, when Godzilla movies played in theaters in Japan, they were on double features with movies for adults, dramas or comedies, and this was on a double feature with a puppet show. This was kind of the way the Godzilla movies went from then on. They would be these early matinees, and they would be on double features with, cut down versions of other movies or cartoons. Actually, Destroy All Monsters played on a double feature in 1972. It was re-released. It was cut down to an hour long, and one of the movies that it played against was this new movie called Panda Go Panda. And Panda Go Panda was directed by Isao Takahata, and the writer was this guy who hadn't written any movies before, but his name was Hayao Miyazaki. And those two guys would go on to form Studio Ghibli, so honestly, it kind of seems like Godzilla and Totoro were separated at birth. So that was some neat trivia. So maybe we should do some trivia.
I think you're right. We should do some more trivia. But I think we need some help with that. So I'd love to invite 2 very awesome friends to the stage. I'd like to invite Jonathan Penner and Matt Barone to the stage right now.
Thank you.
Jonathan and Matt are our colleagues from ESCAPE from Tribeca. Would you guys like to speak about what ESCAPE from Tribeca is?
Sure. Thank you first for having us. Thank you all for being here. A beautiful, full house, incredible. That was amazing. Kind of mind-blowing for me. Escape from Tribeca, very briefly, is a new psychotronic sidebar that we're doing at the Tribeca Festival. We've been showing H.P. Lovecraft horror movies. We showed Reanimator in partnership with Brooklyn Horror Fest on the big screen. Barbara Crampton was there. We showed Final Cut, which was the remake of One Cut of the Dead, which we were thinking about showing here, but instead we're showing this, and this is a much better thing to show. Tomorrow night, Enter the Dragon with Angela Mao. On the big screen, there are still a few tickets available at the SVA Theater. Please come onto the site, the Escape from Tribeca site, and get tickets for that. That's going to be amazing. And there's a live martial arts demonstration. Matt?
Tomorrow, also the third and final screening of Enter the Clones of Bruce at 3 o'clock at the Village East. It's an amazing documentary about Bruceploitation, wave of films that came out after Bruce Lee's death, and that's at 3 o'clock. There's still some tickets left for that. And yeah, I mean, I just want to thank Peter and Alexander and the whole team here. It's been an amazing partnership. Hopefully more to come in the future. And yeah, thank you all for coming out. And let's get some trivia going.
So, here's how we're going to play. Kevin is going to ask a question. You fine folks are going to raise your hand if you know the answer. I'm going to repeat that. You're going to raise your hand if you know the answer. You are not going to shout it out. You're going to raise your hand. These two gents over here, Matt and Jonathan, they're going to pick somebody to answer it. They take bribes. I'm going to race up to you, horribly not tripping over the stairs, give you the mic. Tell us the answer. If you win, or if you got it right, you will win an amazing prize from Seismic Toys or Robo 7. We've got 5 trivia questions, 5 awesome prizes. I think if we could up the house lights a little bit. I don't know if they're listening to me in the booth. Could we up the house lights a bit? There we go. They're deep in conversation. Perfect. This way I won't trip over the stairs. Kevin, what is the first question?
So let's start with a gimme. Who is paying attention? Who can name 5 of the monsters that are in this movie?
So, 5 monsters:
Yeah.
Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, Angus, King Ghidorah, and Baragon. Throw a couple Ghostosaurs.
Yeah, that is more than 5, so you are certainly qualified.
Bring the lights up just a little more, please, as possible. Thank you so much.
Okay, question 2. What city does Godzilla destroy by himself? Exactly. Godzilla's gonna be a
I would also like to remind everyone of the New York City geography before this movie takes place. If you didn't notice, coming to Japan Society, the United Nations building is right there, 1 block away. I just want you to remember the UN, 1 block right over there. Just apropos of nothing. The UN, literally 1 block from here. Go on.
All right, let's go a little bit more difficult. One of the monsters, Baragon, is barely in this movie because the Baragon costume had actually been lent out to a television show. Who can name the television show?
Wow.
In the middle? Yeah.
Yes. Okay, next question. Aside from Godzilla, only one of the costumes for a monster in this is a brand new costume. The original had been sent to the US for a movie called The Volcano Monsters. Does anybody know which monster this was? That is correct.
One last question.
All right. This is something that I think any true Godzilla fan is going to know. The person in the Godzilla suit in this movie. Who knows his name? Yes, Haru Nakajima, correct.
I actually didn't see who answered that.
Nice.
Y'all are amazing.
Thank you all tremendously. A massive thank you to everyone here, to Kevin for that incredible, insightful introduction, my good friends Jonathan and Matt up on stage, Seismic Toys, Robo7, Moshi, Brooklyn Cora, and all of you. Thank you for spending your Friday night with a bunch of weird giant monsters.